Hello lovely people, and welcome to a book look. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Foundling by Stacey Halls, which is a book that I read in a recent book club that I run at work. So let's get into the blurb. Set in London, 1754, 6 years after leaving her illegitimate daughter Clara at London's Foundling Hospital, Bess Bright returns to reclaim the child she has never known. Dreading the worst, that Clara has died in care, the last thing she expects to hear is that her daughter has already been reclaimed by her. Her life is turned upside down as she tries to find out who has taken her little girl and why. Less than a mile from Bess's lodgings in the city, in a quiet, gloomy townhouse on the edge of London, a young widow has not left the house in a decade. When her close friend, an ambitious young doctor at the Foundling Hospital, persuades her to hire a nursemaid for her daughter, she's hesitant to welcome someone new into her home and her life, but her past is threatening to catch up with her and tear her carefully constructed world apart. Now, if you recognise the author's name, she wrote The Familiars, which I remember absolutely eating up and adoring when it came out back in the day. I say back in the day, it was like a couple of years ago. I don't really know. I'm very time blind. Anyway, this is one that I had thought I'd read already. Pleasantly surprised that I in fact hadn't, because I got to experience it all for the first time, and I had a brilliant time reading this one. The Foundling was, for me, a 4 out of 5 star read. The first chapter was so emotional that I felt my tear ducts prickling up. It was such an opener, the perfect start to a thoroughly moving story. Although I wasn't as head over heels in love with The Foundling as I recall being when I read The Familiars, it did still leave me feeling all the emotions and intrigued to see how Bess, our protagonist, would come out of it all in the end. It felt complex and messy, much like the everyday lives we see now, with the overshadowing themes of women being done wrong by men in their lives again, as well as conversations on class, status and wealth. I think these themes were handled really realistically, but the happily ever after at the end was a bit too fanciful, despite myself feeling immense happiness over how everything turned out. The atmosphere of Georgian London was super rich, and the scenes in the poverty-stricken areas felt awash with the flavours, sights and sounds. It was all very visceral. It was like I was there. I really liked Bess as a protagonist, and her friendship with Kezia was absolutely sweet, though there were a few times where she was saying how she knows how Kezia feels, which I guess you can empathise but never know. Kezia's got a complete different lifestyle. She is a black free woman living in the streets of London, trying to protect her sons where she can, keeping them quite close to her and worrying about, someone looking at them funny or someone thinking they've looked at them funny. It's a very different life that Kezia and her family are living. So I don't know, some of the wording and phrasing rubbed me the wrong way, but yeah, I think the wording just kind of grated on me a little, but the friendship itself was absolutely lovely. I grew to like our second protagonist, Alexandra, especially after learning more about her upbringing. She was a very guarded individual, very troubled individual actually, with a lot of unresolved trauma, and initially she comes across as very hostile and well-to-do, snooty, upper-class woman that doesn't want anybody's help, but to her detriment oftentimes, and to the detriment of her child as well, who really hasn't experienced much of the outdoor world. Of course, things are shaken up when she accepts a nursemaid into her home. But yeah, I thought the convergence of storylines was fantastic. I thought it was well done. I mean, it was something that was very predictable from the start, but there was lots of twists and turns on the way to get to the ultimate conclusion, and overall I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this one, and I will continue with Halls's work. I have an audiobook for Household and also an ebook version for Mrs. England that I'm hoping to read very soon. So yes, I will leave you to enjoy the rest of this video. I definitely pulled in from colours, not the actual setting and themes of the story. It was just like colours that intrigued me and I thought would look cool together. It is just honestly the cover colours that I wanted to incorporate in some way on my eyes. So here we are. I've rambled enough. Do let me know if you have read The Foundling or any other book by Stacey Halls and what you think. See you soon.
The silhouette's burning, embers rising high, like a chemical fire. The flame